Hey guys, I'm learning TFT and I'm sharing my learnings with you so that you can learn and I can learn better as well. In this video, we're going to go through Data TFT's pro tips section at datatft.com/tip. I'll include a link in the description below. We'll go through the most liked tips that are user upvoted, and we'll get through as many of these as we can and see what we can learn. So the first tip is for the power up Unstoppable, which causes the holder to charge through new targets, stunning enemies they pass through for 1 second. And so the trick here is that, let's say Kobuko has Unstoppable on him. He'll charge through, and assuming that, let's say, the enemy frontliner is not. Where's Jarvan? Let's say they have a Jarvan here. Let's say 50-50, it goes through this side, not this side. This is better if it's like against a solo frontliner. But let's say it charges through here. What's going to happen is then Aatrox will walk up, Gangplank will walk up, and then Gangplank will basically go straight to the Karma here. And so in a situation where the enemy opposite team is positioned in such a manner, you definitely want to be same side with Unstoppable to get this kind of walk-up effect, right? And this can be done for any melee carry, and this one's the most upvoted tip on Data TFT. Number 2, Volibar. Volibar has been getting pickup lately in patch 15.2a. If we look at Volibar, this Edgelord Volibar build, or there's a bunch of Volibar builds, and if we pull it up here, the optimal positioning for Volibar is actually something like this, where let's say the enemy, if we're just going to use the same Karma positioning, let's see. I'm just going to throw random frontliners just to make it simpler. Okay, so let's say this is the starting position. The way that Volibear's passive works is that whenever he changes targets, he immediately slams for 120% damage. So at the beginning of a fight, if you position something like this, his initial target will be 50-50 between one of these Swains. But once the fight begins, Yasuo walks up, and then the shortest path to is no longer one of these targets. It'll be one of this or this, right? And so then he'll change targets and try to hit this way. So it might actually be better if your Samira is on this side to position something like this. And that way, your Volibear will hit the same target as the Swain here because it gets blocked off here. If it's like this, I believe it's probably a 50-50 between jumping between these two, and you might not focus fire on the same target as the Samira. So this is pretty key to getting Volibear dealing more damage and getting into the fight quicker. So that had 61 upvotes. Next is Chaotic Evolution. This augment, if we look at augment's info for Chaotic Evolution, starting up a champion grants them one of the following: 100 health, basically a bunch of stats, and the bonuses stack. So even if you take this augment after you've created a 2-star, it will still have the effect. A 3-star unit benefits from the bonus 4 times because you're starting up a 2-star, a 2-star, a 2-star, and then the 3-star, so 4 times. And it's speculated that 4-star units get 13 stacks. So if you have, let's say, worth the wait, this seems like it would be completely broken. This augment only appears at 2-1, so combining it with Pandora's Bench would be quite strong. So in the current meta right now, let's see, reroll is what? one is probably better with one cost reroll. So like with crew, it would be good. Actually, really good with crew. Kale reroll, those two, and then there's a bunch of 2 cost reroll as well. So whether it's Gangplank, Jin Mundo, but ideally if you can get 3 units that get this, which is why it's so good with crew, it would be ideal. So, and then damage reduction stacks linearly, which is valuable. I don't know if this was nerfed. I think it actually might have been nerfed. Let me see. Patch note. Chaotic. Okay, the AD, yeah, the durability and the AD AP was nerfed in 15.2. But you still get what, 4 random stacks of this, which I think especially for crew, this is quite broken. That was 41 uploads. Odyssey carries deals damage faster when placed left of the spaceship. I actually don't know what that means. I don't know where the spaceship shows up. If anybody knows what this one means, let me know in the comments. I think. Okay, so this is relevant for Smolder reroll, because that's really the only viable Lulu comp right now, Protector Smolder. And the way that Smolder works is at level 15 and level 30, he'll get significant boosts. And then Monster Trainer, for him, I believe every time he levels up, he gains. Oh, yeah, the passive says he gains 1% per Monster Trainer level. So to get to level 30, and he also scales up by number of kills. It's saying that on average, you get there by stage 5 if you start getting the stacks at 2-1. So basically, to play Smolder, you really need to get him going at 2-1. You hopefully are getting a decent amount of kills. So it seems like this isn't really a lost streak strategy. And you don't really hit your cap until stage 5. The exception would be if you get Rare Treat, which let's actually pull it up. Where's Rare Treat? Okay, so your monster has plus 15 monster trainer levels. So in that case, you get to skip to level 30 by around stage 3. And then once you get to stage 5, then you can swap out the Rare Treat for a better power up. Okay. Jin Spirit Sword plus Jin grants critical hit scaling. The crit benefit with the strong blah blah blah. Okay. So Artistic KO I think is generally considered the best. Spirit Sword. Yeah, I haven't really seen this. I'm not quite sure. Gangplank, Stretchy Arms, we already know about. Cassante with Lucky Gloves. Oh, starts with tank items, and then after he transforms, he then switches to warrior modes, which I think causes his gloves to transform and works well with unflinching. What is unflinching again? I think, isn't that the. Where is unflinching? Okay, I'm not sure where unflinching is. I think some of their tip, it's probably with all out. Some of their tooltips are off. All right, in normal formation with A1 as the fighter and A2 as the tank, the opponent's back corner unit will prioritize attacking the tank. So because of the new roles revamped in set 15, you can actually safely put your melee carry on A1. I actually don't think this same logic applies on the inverted side. I want to say I've done that before, where I've gone something like this. And I think the Karma prioritized the Gangplank once over the Aatrox. But I think this side, maybe it's something to do with the actual distance, because it's the same number of hexes, but I don't know why for this side it may not be true. But specifically for A1, A2, it should be okay. Over there. Oh yeah. So one thing that I think I didn't notice is that, so we know Akali has the it's kind of like Z effects from last set, where, see, where's Zed and Coco? Or sorry, Akali. Akali, if you put here, will attack 4 units away. So you pretty much always want to put Akali on these two. But one thing that I don't think most people know is that Kobuko also has a 4 away stun when he has 4 mentor activated. And so when he has 4 mentor activated, send a shockwave towards the farthest enemy within 4 hexes, briefly stunning them. So depending on whether or not Kobuko is your main tank, sometimes if he's your main tank, he's 3-star, you probably may want to consider just putting him in front of your Gangplank to keep him safe. But if your Kobuko maybe isn't your main tank, you never 3-starred him, you don't have good items, then you might want to consider putting him here so you can stun the Karma. Although Yasuo also hits for, I think Yasuo's, yeah, Yasuo's mentor ability also goes within 4 hexes, stunning them. So if you put Yasuo, like Yasuo here, usually what, if you knew the enemy Karma's here, you can go like this, and then Yasuo can hit here. The Kobuko could hit here, or might hit like somewhere over here or over here. But if you do something like this, then if the Karma is 50-50 between these two, you can get a stun here or here. So that's just something to keep in mind. If let's say they have a 3-star Karma, you really want to optimize for like stunning this over like, Kobuko tanking. Alright, Demolitionist. Varus' skill's piercing damage can also stun, making it almost full screen CC while active. So Varus is kind of like Twitch from, what was it, 2 sets ago, where it'll go through units. And so Demolitionist is completely broken because all of those pierced arrows count as ability damage, which will cause a stun of the whole board. Just kind of similar to TF and Frost Touch. And I suspect the only reason that this hasn't really been mentioned much is because Varus hasn't really been meta. Though there is a Fast 9 Varus board. This one. Where, let's say Varus is attacking some units like this, or let's say more, something like this. He's firing across the whole board, and so then he'll pierce through and stun these backliners here as well. Right, Shadow Clone. With Radiant Thieves Gloves, I suspect this applies to regular TG as well. If you move the unit back to the bench and then redeploy it, the clone is almost like reinstantiated and it'll refresh the clone's item. So you can almost like tailor your TGs with Shadow Clone if you have TG on it. Tesla Coil, is this nerfed in this patch? Because last patch I saw a lot of top players take it, especially if you're on item portals, encounters. Tesla Coil. This was not touched. Okay. TG counts as 3 items. So if you have a TG made, the Tesla Coil starts dealing a lot more damage. And I think in general, if you have 3 full carries, this already seems to be really good value. Once you have 4 plus, I believe that this Tesla Coil should be dealing like secondary carry value, because you're talking about, let's say late game, a fight lasts, I don't know, 20 seconds. So it'll proc 4 times, and each emits 2 arcs of, let's say, 375 late game. So 750 times 4. That's 20, or that's 3,000 per ally with 3 items equipped. So if you have 3 allies that have 3 items equipped, or you have multiple TGs, like let's say you have Lucky Gloves and you already made 3 TGs, and you have regular items, you have 3 of these is 9,000 damage across a 20-second fight. You have 4 of these, that's 12,000 damage, right? So TGs drastically improve the damage output of Tesla Coil. Not done yet. I think this was actually fixed, so it's not relevant anymore. I don't know if this was bug fixed in the most recent patch notes. Let me actually see. This is Stormbender. Okay, it does not appear that it showed up in the bug fixes. So this claims that Stormbender's damage is higher than 25% damage dealt as magic damage. In which case that would still make this a very strong fruit. Frost Touch was removed. All right, after Gnar casts his skill, so Gnar gives, I believe, an attack speed buff. Grant 2 nearby allies 25% at 2-star attack damage, actually, not attack speed. Prioritizing attack champions. He grants nearby allies an AD bonus, prioritizing placing AD champions near your main carry in front of Gnar to get the AD buff, and this can also trigger the Luchador trait effect to apply CC. Not sure what that means. Okay, if you know what this one means, let me know in the comment and add a timestamp. Where? Shadow Clone. Shadow Clone's 25% damage buff applies multiplicatively to most damage, but not to item effects. Thus, clone items should carry on-hit effect items like Morello, Red Buff, Anti-Heal, Shred. Okay, so the point is that you only get 25% of item value, but if you have on-hit effects like Morello, that is way more valuable. So like even, what is it? Blighting Jewel with Karma, with Yumi, with Malzahar, it's basically like double the value instead of just 25% of the value. All right, I think we're starting to get to the lower number of upvotes, so I think I might wrap up pretty soon. Luchador does not have a Edge of Night effect. Cleanse negative effects, heal, and leap back into the fight. So if something dealt enough damage, it would still be able to get through it, but 50% heal at 4 Luchador is still a good amount of damage. But if, let's say, a giant Seraphine Bomb hits, if the Seraphine dealt enough damage, it would still kill it off. It wouldn't be like an Edge of Night effect. Dualist Emblem grants extra on-hit damage. Where's Dualist? Attacks deal 12 bonus true damage plus 6 bonus true damage for each time the target was damaged by this effect. Okay, so if you put Dualist Emblem on Twisted Fate, because every time it was damaged by this effect, it applies the emblem effect, it makes it very strong. So let's see how TF looks with... Oh, wow. I didn't realize Duelist Emblem was so far and beyond the highest performing emblem. Like, Duelist and Strategist are like they're kind of like an order of magnitude better than everything else. But okay, let's see. Duelist Emblem, TF, really broken. Duelist Emblem on Janna, because she splits. Let's go back to that. Attacks deal 12 bonus damage plus 6 bonus true damage for each time the target was damaged by this effect. So it only applies to attacks. Alright, so TF very broken with it. Oh, I wonder if the same thing applies to Zyra for the plants. Does anybody know if you put Duelist Emblem on Zyra, if the plant attacks, does that also increase the true damage bonus for Duelist Emblem? That would explain why it is also very strong for Zyra. Alright, this claims that Attack Expert is buggy. It's supposed to give you 5% AD at the start, but it claims it does not. Let's go back to the patch notes and see if that was fixed. Okay, yeah, that was fixed. Malzahar's Blighting Jewel combined with Shadow Clone is very strong. Yeah, we already talked about that. Right. Lucian restores mana when his skill bullets miss. Adaptive Helm not only provides base mana regen, but also amplifies the mana restore from missed bullets. So if Lucian reroll becomes a thing, let's see how adaptive looks on 3-star Lucian. Not very good. But I guess that could change if, like, right now there's not really a Lucian reroll, so maybe right now that's more so if Lucian, you just happen to put items on him. Storm damage. I don't know why we're talking about storm damage separate from Lucian. Okay, cool. I think we covered a good amount of stuff. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have comments, questions, let me know. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.